hey, it's been a hot minute. And when I say that, what I really mean is it's been almost 2 years. So this is kind of my first video, and it's kind of not. A few years ago, I was really into criticism of movies and TV shows, and so I made a sort of review channel. That started to fizzle out, I lost interest in the channel, and it resulted in me making a video saying that I'll be taking a step back and taking a break, and I said that I might be back in a couple of months, and...
What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
So I've unlisted all the videos that I did back in the day for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they're all pretty terrible. Secondly, I want to completely rebrand this channel to be a sort of commentary type channel, sort of half serious, maybe with a political bent. Since most of what I'm going to do probably will have a political bent, I just want to get my bias out of the way. I'm very left-wing on most issues. Anyway, on to the topic of today's video, which is Superstraight. If you don't know what Superstraight is, you've probably been living under a rock. A rock known as the real world. Unfortunately, I haven't been there, so I know what this is. Superstraight is not the world's most boring superhero. It's actually something even worse. It's a new sexuality that's basically for people who are so straight that they are only attracted to cis people of the opposite gender, and they're trying to make it part of the LGBT community. My first thought with that is, if you want to talk about how you're so much more straight, you probably don't want to try joining the LGBT community. I don't know, that just seems like a bad idea. Anyway, there's obviously the question of, is this a valid sexuality? And my initial response is no, because obviously I think 15-year-old boy is not a valid sexuality. Please ignore that I just made fun of 15-year-old boys while being a 16-year-old. Hashtag not all teenagers. It mainly kicked off after this TikTok went viral.
Guys, I made a new sexuality now, actually. It's called Superstraight, okay? Since straight people, or straight men as myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman. You know, they're like, would you date a trans woman? I'm like, no, why? That's a female. No, like, that's not a real woman to me. Like, I want a real woman. No, you're just transphobic. So now, I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender, women, that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now because that's just my sexuality, you know?
Is it transphobic to not want to date a trans person? No, I don't think it is. I think everyone has preferences. You don't need an excuse to not date someone. I don't think that makes you bigoted. But is it transphobic to say that you don't see them as women? Yes, that's a big difference. While that TikTok going viral definitely helped to kick Superstraight into high gear, it was actually mainly started with 4chan, which is not good because, well, to put it lightly, 4chan is fucking insane. I don't like to throw around words like Nazi, fascist, alt-righter, but 4chan is legitimately a fucking Nazi haven. I've been to Pol like twice, and both times it's been flooded with people talking about Jews, the Aryan race, how black people are genetically inferior. Actual Nazi shit. You know what, Nazis might be responsible for it, but hey, look, let's try and separate the artist from the art, okay? If you want, you can say that Hitler was a good painter. Quick side note for the ANCAPs in the audience, this does not mean that enjoying something for the art is a catch-all excuse.
TV, it was actually just an epic troll to own the libs.
And you know what? You'd be right. And here's where I'm gonna attack my own side. Lefties, why the fuck did you take the bait on this? Because now everyone knows what it is. The left needs to stop buying into this shit so easily. And look, you could argue that by making this video, I'm taking the bait, and maybe I am to an extent, but A, there are people who are actually using the Superstraight label completely unironic now, so it's not just a troll thing anymore. And B, everyone already knows what it is by this point, so there's no way that I'm going to give it any more publicity. I'm seeing actual legitimate debates over this, so at this point I don't care, I'm talking about it. So Blair White decided to make a video sticking up for the Superstraights because, you know, it's Blair White, of course she fucking did. And normally I wouldn't bring up a Blair White video in a context like this, because Blair White's videos tend to have absolutely no substance. But there is one thing she said that I want to hone in on, because it A, does a good job of illustrating my point, and B, it's incredibly fucking stupid.
Straight men who are attracted to trans women, they're somewhere on the Kinsey scale, okay? Like, they are not perfectly straight.
Okay, so according to Blair, if you find Blair White hot, you're gay. Finding someone who looks like this hot is gay. What the fuck? If you're a dude and you pass Blair White on the street and you think, damn, that's a nice looking lady, then you should probably examine your sexuality. Do you see how ludicrous this is? This is the problem with Superstraight. So many trans women are visually indistinguishable from cis women. So if you say that, like, it's biologically impossible for you to ever be attracted to a trans woman, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. If you say, I don't want to date a trans woman, then that's fine, you have that right, that's your preference. But there's a difference between who you would choose to date and who you find hot when you look at them. Your sexuality is who you find hot. Okay, and look, you find people hot based on what they look like. You don't find people hot based on their fucking DNA structure. I know I made a joke earlier about how Superstraight kind of sounds like the world's lamest superhero. I wonder if their superpower is like they're able to magically detect chromosomes. But you know what, let's say for the sake of argument, that is how it works. Like, there are some people that just biologically they'll never be attracted to trans women. And it's still not a valid sexuality, it's just a really strong preference. And you know, I've seen some super straights say that preference implies it's a choice. No it doesn't, you fucking retard. If I say, I really like redheads, that is a preference. But I didn't choose to like redheads, I just do. Preference doesn't imply it's a choice. But you know what, at the end of the day, here's my real problem with Superstraight. I consider myself to be a left-leaning libertarian, and economically I think the system I subscribe to most is market socialism. Holy shit, I'm such a nerd. Anyway, according to the Paul Cumpball wiki, this is the flag for libertarian market socialism. And this is the flag for Superstraight. The fuckers ruined my flag. I made that flag my Twitter banner. Speaking of Twitter, it's @_TVandSin. You should follow me, links in the description. But you know what, I realized so far this video has been pretty one-sided, you know, you've only been hearing my point of view, so how about we hear from someone who might disagree with me? So I was thinking maybe we'll have a look at known intellectual Short Fat Otaku. And if you don't know who Short Fat Otaku is, he's the guy who thinks that conservatism is the new counterculture. If you've seen the recent reaction to Lil Nas X, you know that's not true. He also has a huge hate boner for Vosh. So let's have a look and see what he's got to say about this new Superstraight trend.
The reason that we're so pissed off about this trend is because it's definitely to make fun of us.
And that is the first argument against the idea of the Superstraight. It's an argument that predates Superstraight, in fact. It's that if trans women are women, then refusing to date trans women as a straight man, or as a lesbian cis woman, is transphobia.
You just played a clip of someone saying that the Superstraight trend is to make fun of trans people, which it is, and then you said that we think that if you don't want to date trans people, you're transphobic. That's certainly a fucking leap if I've ever seen one. I think that's about everything that I wanted to say in this video, so if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy, leave a dislike. And if you're an angry Superstraight, leave a really angry comment, okay? Really would help the engagement, thank you. And so yeah, that's everything. Bye guys.